Thank you guys for watching Web3TV on Phoenix Crypto TV 44.6. I'm Nicole, and right now my friend Kenn Bosak is going to be on our show, and we're going to be talking about Jorg Molt, someone who claims to be the co-founder of Bitcoin, and then also the social history of Bitcoin and kind of why the community takes it so seriously when someone claims to be Satoshi Nakamoto but can't prove it with private keys. So we'll be right back. Thank you. Okay, so while we wait for Kenn, I really want to share this clip of Kenn confronting Jorg Molt at World CryptoCon, just to give you some context. So I'm going to share my screen and show that to you.
People he's fucking Satoshi, but he's a fucking skit. Alright, look, this guy right here, he's a fucking scammer. This dude, no, don't you look away. This guy's a fucking scammer. This guy right here, he's not Satoshi. He's telling people he's fucking Satoshi, but he's a fucking scammer. This fucking guy right here, you don't belong in this space. Get out. Yeah, I'm here. Say something. Say something. This fucking guy is a piece of shit scammer.
Take it out.
No.
Take it out.
Oh, no. You don't know me, bro. And I know this guy. Touch me. Don't touch me. Touch me. I'll fuck you up.
Ouch.
No, don't touch me, man. Get off me. You don't know me and I don't know you. Don't touch me. Don't ever fucking touch me. How about that? You need to get the fuck out of my face. You don't know me. This fucking guy doesn't know me. Shut the fuck up. This guy is a scammer. Just know that.
Okay, so that was Kenn confronting Jorg Molt at World CryptoCon, and we're going to talk about that coming right up. All right. Hi, Kenn. Thank you so much for being here.
How goes it? Thanks for having me.
Well, we're really thrilled for you to be here, and you've done so many different things within the space and impacting the space. But kind of most notably right now has been your confrontation at WCC with Jorg Molt. So can you tell us a little bit that? Honestly, I had never heard that name until I saw your post.
That's, I guess kind of why I did it, right? See something, say something, highlight the bad actors. I ran into this guy, Jorg Molt, before at a conference in Spain. I was in Barcelona. He was on a cruise. I ran into him. He told me he was Satoshi and he created Bitcoin. And we had a little bit of an altercation then. And at the time, I didn't really think anything of it. Like yourself, I'd never heard his name before. Pretty much thought maybe, no harm, no foul, harmless character, just being a crazy person saying he created Bitcoin. Then later on, World CryptoCon, I see this person on stage saying that they are the Bitcoin co-founder. And I wanted to laugh it off, but I've heard people throughout the conference talking to each other and some people even coming to me and, saying like, hey, this guy's claiming to be Satoshi. Hey, did you run into this guy saying he created Bitcoin? And then, hey, this guy's the Bitcoin co-founder. I'm like, somebody has to say something. This is getting out of hand because he has this Bitcoin pension plan that you can invest in with guaranteed returns. And he has this Satoshi school that is extremely expensive for no reason. And, all these things started to add up to the point where like, and if you see the video, it's not my greatest moment, but like the reason I was so emotional and angry in the video was because all these things have added up to this person just being a malicious actor in the space right there under our noses. And, there was a lot of more reputable people that should have and could have said something when they seen this man on stage claiming to be the Bitcoin co-founder. His business card said it. A lot of people got a card from him, and I'm the only person that said something all that made me a little bit upset. So just the fact that this guy can claim to be a Bitcoin co-founder at a conference like World CryptoCon and only somebody like me says something, it's upsetting.
Well, yeah, I couldn't agree more. And so I think it's kind of important. A lot of our viewers here haven't actually, they don't know very much about cryptocurrency. This is kind of serving as introduction. So I think it's pretty important that we acknowledge, first of all, that the reason why it matters if someone is claiming that he or she is Satoshi is that there's a major ideological component involved with Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
And so I think that I can probably do some of it, but maybe it would be useful to get from your perspective why anyone ever saying that he or she is Satoshi is at contradiction with the ideology that birthed Bitcoin or that surrounds Bitcoin.
Well, I mean, first off, Satoshi would never claim to be Satoshi. That is the most Satoshi thing to do. And to claim to be Satoshi is the most un-Satoshi thing, right? And that's where we get this problem with, Craig Wright and, other people that claim to be the creator of Bitcoin. And it's more than just a claim, right? This is something that we need proof of, and it's easily verified. All you have to do is move some of the Genesis block, coins, and you're good to go. You are Satoshi. But anybody who's ever claimed to be Satoshi has never proven it, and it's very easy to do so. And the reason that it would, possibly be an issue that if somebody were, obviously Satoshi has a lot of Bitcoin, they could be dumped to manipulate the market in some way, or use, the deity position of other creators like Charlie Lee, Vitalik, to say this is what I want done to Bitcoin, and have the core developers kind of centrally follow you. That would somewhat centralize Bitcoin in that sense. And then you'd have the issue of whoever proves that they're Satoshi is definitely going to be the number one wanted person by the United States government for creating a competitor to the US dollar. So there's a lot of issues with that.
Yeah, in fact, I've recently even come across a community who believes that Ross Ulbricht is Satoshi, and that's why his sentence was the way that it, was the 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
That would be interesting, but there is another more interesting theory of this criminal mastermind drug lord that's currently in prison at the moment may technically possibly be Satoshi. And some of the deep dive investigation using the pseudonym Toshi in previous criminal engagements. So there's a lot of speculation out there. Me personally, rest in peace, Hal Finney, possibly one of the most contributive people. We have Hal Finney. Let's see.
Dave Kleiman.
I don't know why I'm... Kleiman, thank you. I was just thinking of Kleiman because, Craig Wright's lawsuit to pay him his due has kind of been enforced, but Craig's claiming to be broke now and not trying to pay the Kleiman family what they're legally obligated to be paid back now because he has been found guilty of stealing money from him. So there's a lot of people that have more claim to this or possibilities, but Adam Beck is named in the white paper. And he doesn't go around saying he's a Bitcoin co-founder or Satoshi.
Right, and same thing with Nick Szabo.
Exactly. They would never use that as any kind of leverage in the space saying, oh, I'm in the white paper, I'm the co-founder or something like that. Or I'm the CEO because I'm in the white paper.
Right. Well, I think it's probably really important to know that Satoshi, created Bitcoin pseudonymously, for one thing, because it's very possible that this could, eventually be viewed as a terrorist action. And also because if you don't know where the snake's head is, you can't cut it off. And then also, because of the decentralization, because they didn't want there to be one central authority ruling over Bitcoin, because that was the point.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
Bitcoin has no head.
yeah, you can't cut off the snake of a head if you can't find its head. The head of a snake. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what has happened since? I know that Jorg Molt has been on the Wild West crypto show, and then I think he's also been, since that confrontation at WCC, he's also been on the Bad Crypto podcast. Is that right?
I'm not sure. The Bad Crypto podcast, I'm pretty sure, said on Twitter that they didn't have him on their podcast, and the only reason he ended up on stage with them was I talked to the organizers of World CryptoCon, Eric and Adam and everyone, and basically Jorg kind of scammed his way onto stage. So the Bad Crypto podcast, they did a Shark Tank, or it was like Token Tank, and it was kind of like a play on Shark Tank in crypto. And anyway, as far as I know, with the Wild West crypto guys, Jorg actually paid them, and I believe that this is public information. He paid them 2 Bitcoin to be a media correspondent for him. So of course he would have a platform to say that he is who he is, at being a Bitcoin co-founder and all this information on their platform, because he's paid for that platform, the Wild West Crypto Show. I think they have like a TV show or radio show and stuff. They're more like legacy media, and he made an investment in them, and that's why I believe they're defending Jorg, because even people like Andreas and Bitcoin.com have done their own due diligence and said something. But yeah, I mean, ever since that video kind of released, it was almost like me crowdsourcing. Sorry about that.
No, that was me.
It was almost like me crowdsourcing the actual information, right? Like, the video, I didn't really go into detail. I'm just like, this guy's a scammer, he's a jerk, and I called him out. But really, everybody was left with, well, why is Kenn saying this? Why is this being said in the video? And I left that up to everybody to do their own due diligence. I never said anything like for facts. I just said, this is my opinion. This dude's a bad dude. And then next thing you know, like Bitcoin.com, Andreas, I had so many people coming out with their own due diligence and information on this. And it was really interesting to see like 99.9% of media come to a conclusion, and like one podcast that has been paid off have their own opinion of who this person is. But hopefully we'll see less conferences allow people to get away with saying that they're the Bitcoin co-founder on stage, and utilizing that opportunity as some form of like reputable clout to then take advantage of people in the audience by saying, look, I was just on stage as the Bitcoin co-founder. If you give me 0.5 Bitcoin, I'll turn it into 5 Bitcoin in 5 years, guaranteed. Like, that's a scam. And conferences should be held responsible and accountable for allowing people like that to gain clout on their stages and then take advantage of people in their audience. I can't remember, I think it was Sins, or there was a conference that just had Jorg speak there after all this came to light. And it really hurt their reputation. It just sort of plummeted on social media. And it's not my intent to discredit a conference like World CryptoCon, but more so to highlight the fact that if people are on stage with, claims of being a Bitcoin co-founder, there's not so much due diligence to, fact check this, right? Or Google search, who is this person's making wild claims? It's not like they're just saying, oh, I'm a developer and throw me on stage. They're the Bitcoin co-founder. You don't have to be an expert to know that this is something that should be questioned and not just trusted, but proven.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And definitely agree that it would be absolutely detrimental to prove, if someone could prove who Satoshi was.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, though, I honestly don't think it matters, right? Other than, the potential for the developers to kind of follow a deity, that's it, really. I mean, whoever Satoshi is, it really doesn't matter. They could sell all their Bitcoin, or they could, say, change the code. I want to do Bitcoin SVs, the real Bitcoiners. That doesn't matter what Satoshi says anymore, because we are all Satoshi. Anybody who holds just a piece of Bitcoin, anybody that mines, anybody that has a node, anybody that codes for Bitcoin, we are all Satoshi.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So what about the statement, we are all Satoshi except Craig?
I feel like that's basically saying we're all Satoshi except anybody who actually thinks they're Satoshi. You
Okay.
know, because that's like again, that's the most un-Satoshi thing to do, is to kind of want to be Satoshi. Satoshi didn't even want to be Satoshi, and that's what makes it so ironic when we see somebody like Craig Wright, you know, saying, "I am Satoshi. I have more money than your whole country," and I mean, that's not something. If you read the white paper or any of the transcriptions from Satoshi, that's something that that person would ever say out loud.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. And there's just so much strangeness in that whole story. In fact, I have like a whole thing that I'm building that's the social history of Bitcoin to try and explain. I just started putting together the PowerPoint, to try and explain when new people come in and watch this for the first time, like why is everybody attacking anybody who says they're Satoshi? Like, what an ungrateful community, because I just never want to hear that again.
Right. I would definitely speak to Roger Ver about his moment of clarity when he went from thinking Craig Wright is, without a doubt, Satoshi Nakamoto, to the point he woke up and actually ended up like in a lawsuit with Craig Wright over saying that he is not Satoshi Nakamoto. That was a great like revelation to see Craig and Roger kind of go through.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to talk to Roger about that. He is probably the most difficult person in crypto to get a hold of, though. I mean, of
All you have to do is say something to him, and he'll DM you and say sue me. He wrote an article about me on Reddit, and I said something on Twitter, and the dude DMs me and says sue me. Such a child. I think Roger Ver still wears diapers, like the adult onesies that you pull up, and when he pees himself, he has these little cool Bitcoin Cash like icons that are visible now, and he knows he should change his diaper.
Are you trying to get at him right here? Is that what you want? I can just clip this
Oh
and send
no,
it to him.
no. Roger, he knows I'm just kidding.
All right. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Ken, can you tell us what exactly you do in the crypto blockchain space?
I'm immersed in it. I live in it. I am the Bitcoin conference roadie. I've been to probably now 200 conferences, meetups, and events all around the world. I use crypto for everything, so I'm all in. I'm a little bit biased, so I don't really hodl fiat. I ride the volatility of the crypto market. I use Bitcoin as my 100% holdings, and I spend cryptocurrency on everything from my flights to my Uber Eats to whatever I can. Um, and by going to a lot of these events, I get to speak to a lot of people. I got pretty familiar with a lot of them. I've done podcasting now for a few years, and I just do random interviews with people because my bro running into my cousin at a family reunion. So it's like really interesting to just get to talk to people off camera, no podcast, nothing recording, and really see like who these people are and what they're getting into. So like me, I feel like I'm just like the crypto bro. Like I don't really have nothing to sell you. I don't really have anything to buy from you, but I'm here to use what you're building, and I'll give you the feedback. And that's what I do. I really immerse myself in this space as an end user, and I tried to position myself to be kind of known in the conference circuit. So I get to speak at some of these events or attend a lot of these events and just be a presence there, something other than a guy in a suit, just trying to make more fiat. A lot of people are like, oh, how do I use this Bitcoin thing? And I'm like, well, you can use this to book a flight, or you can use purse.io to get 20% off Amazon. There's so many ways to use this as a currency. And because you're using it as money, that money goes farther. And that's just a little bit about like what I'm doing in the space as far as just, my staple in Bitcoin. It's just like, I want to be known as like the number one end user, the most enthusiastic, Bitcoin, I guess it would be like the beta tester. Like I'm going through all these bugs. Like I run into bugs all the time, but it's because I'm beta testing the currency of the future.
Ken, once I heard, it was after I had met you a couple of times, but once I think I read something on Twitter, someone posted something from an Uber driver where the Uber driver said, man, I thought that you told me that you didn't graduate from high school, but you sound like a full-blown economist.
Yeah, I dropped out of high school freshman year. I had to get a job, help my mom out with rent and stuff. And I've always been interested in making money. Like, you know, when I was a kid, I did what most people do in Philly, and I hustled. And from hustling, I ended up having an income. And from there, I ended up having my own place. And I was really young and doing all this. And I kind of wanted to get into the stock market when I turned 18. I didn't realize that I would have to be accredited and all this stuff. But I kind of was interested. So I kept my eyes on like TD Ameritrade, and I'd read like stupid like trader stuff. Even when I was a kid, like 15, 16, you know, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm like one of the I guess like one of the only stoners in my group that was just interested in money. It was like one of those things, like everybody liked Pokemon cards, and I was just like, well, I want to take $10 and turn it into $15 and take that 15 and turn it into 30. How do I do this? And like that to me was my like hobby. I'd buy candy, I'd go door to door and I'd sell the candy, or I'd do different other things with my money. I'd flip it. I'd buy books, and I'd even sit outside of the grocery store and sell the books that I just bought for more than I bought them for. And, you know, the cannabis industry blew up. I tried to invest in the cannabis industry. I found out that you have to be accredited to invest in a lot of these early opportunities. And when I seen those opportunities blow up, where if I did not have to be accredited to invest in these cannabis stocks, and they let me with the amount of money I was willing, like $5,000 or so into a couple of these, I would have been able to become an accredited investor from just one investment, but they didn't let me participate. I wandered into gold and silver, and then from there I wandered into digital gold and silver with like Bitcoin and Litecoin, and Ethereum just started coming out when I really got interested in this. And from there, I kind of never looked back. I was like, you know, it made complete sense to me that there, you know, this open permissionlessness financial environment existed for people like me that were just gears in a bigger machine when I looked at TD Ameritrade. So I'm blessed to be able to say like, yeah, I'm a high school dropout and I made it this far, but it's really been something I've been very like interested in and focused on in the background of who I am, which is like an interesting thing because I like wear pajamas and I talk about investing on stage, but again, it's just more of who I am and not who I'm trying to appear to be.
Right. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people were attracted to with cryptocurrency was, yeah, you potentially could lose everything. And, you know, the reason why why they want accredited investors is so that they're not, you know, losing people's money who don't have the money to lose. But really,
You know who
that's
could
just,
use that? Atlantic City and Las Vegas casinos. They could really use accredited gamblers.
well, exactly. Once you start to actually look at the system and say, okay, is this really to protect the people who don't have any money? Or is this to guarantee that the people who don't have any money can't get any money? And I mean, when you
Exactly.
start to draw those correlations, it becomes more and more cryptocurrency. It just makes more sense with every, you know, passing breath, I guess, at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But again, it's important for anybody who's watching this to, one, know that this is not financial advice, and two, know that there is a very real chance in cryptocurrency, particularly in some of the like longer shot, smaller cryptocurrencies, that you could lose absolutely everything. And failing to acknowledge that isn't doing anybody any good.
Sorry, my internet was cutting in and out. I'm
Oh
trying
no,
to
I
switch to a
figured
better
I can see
connection.
myself on your screen, so I know where you are.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna try to fix that. It should be better now. I connected to a 5G.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So that was awesome. You ready to do Crypto Love Line?
All right. So, what is Crypto Love Line?
Okay. Crypto Love Line is dating advice for crypto bros.
Okay.
So I,
Like, do I have advice for other crypto bros, or are you gonna give me advice?
well, sure, you can offer some advice if you have some, but I also, so I recorded the first segment of this show on Saturday with Codey, and it was all prompted by his like consistent posts about being unable to get laid because he's in crypto and can't talk about anything but crypto. And sort of during the course of that conversation, and then while like two other crypto guys were texting me stuff like that, I'm like, I need to do this thing. Like I need to make a dating advice show for Crypto Bros.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I mean, personally, I haven't really done any dating in the crypto space. I have zero conversations with anybody in Bitcoin that leads to like anything romantic. So it would be interesting. I was just in like a 10-year long relationship. This has been my first year single in a decade. So dating actually hasn't even been on my peripheral. I haven't even thought about it, but I guess like if I could give anybody advice in the space, it would be like, don't. Maybe don't date in the space. It's still small. We're in a very, very small community. Maybe go date outside of it.
Well, definitely, and that's what the focus of the show was about, because Codey was like, I can't talk to you. Their eyes glaze over it the first time that you mentioned cryptocurrency. And I said, okay, well, I'm betting that you're not approaching it in the right way. And so that's kind of where that was born, because yeah, absolutely, it is a very small community. And everyone knows each other, at least to some degree, or at least through someone else. And it's just better to bring more people in than to cross paths inside and potentially have a mess. So
it's like Genghis Khan, right? Like Genghis Khan, we have to go out and we have to start to breed with all the fiaters. So we can't crossbreed, but that would just be an echo chamber of Bitcoiners.
Right, exactly, because we all do live inside of an echo chamber.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't want to date in one.
Yeah, but so I guess that makes your situation different, because you've just gotten out of a long-term relationship. Was she interested in cryptocurrency?
No, she used crypto, but not something that's like, listening to podcasts or reading any white papers or anything. But, she uses it still to this day to like buy things from like even like Ulta Beauty or whatever. Like there's so many ways to use crypto. And she just saw that, by dating me, that I could use this money to get more for my money. It's kind of just become like a financial habit for her. Even my mom like uses Bitcoin, but she doesn't really use Bitcoin. My mom uses Bitcoin in a very unique way. So my mom shops on Amazon. If she wants to get anything from Amazon, she can go and take that Amazon like link. She can post it in post.io. She can say she wants 20 to maybe 30% off whatever she was going to buy on Amazon on Purse. And then Purse will say, well, then send us 80% less than what Amazon wanted, but we want Bitcoin. My mom will go to Coinbase. She'll buy that Bitcoin, send it to Purse, and save 20% on everything she buys on Amazon. You don't understand how much she's been bragging about saving money for Christmas this year. And she doesn't even use Bitcoin, but she does use it.
This is amazing. Do you think that your mom will want to come on our show and tell us how to do that?
Sure. My mom is an Irish Catholic. She loves to talk.
Okay, great. Well, I can't wait to schedule that, because I think that there are a lot of people watching this right now who want to save 20% on everything they buy from Amazon.
Right. And it's easy. It's so easy. It's only getting easier with more and more of these, I would say middleware applications instead of like middlemen corporations. As we see these, utilities pop up, they'll be utilized.
All right, so I'm going to show you my PowerPoint for dating advice for Crypto Bros and just see what you think about it.
Okay.
So, share screen. How do I do this? Share.
I feel like you and Crypto Finally could be like the dating gurus of crypto. Help all the bros get laid so they stop having all this sexual frustration.
I know. This is totally, yeah, that would be really cool. I would love to do that. I tried to have her come on when we were at World CryptoCon. I think the second day, Coin Agenda. The second day of Coin Agenda was Litecoin Summit, and so yeah, it just didn't happen.
Blockchain Week was a madness. There was 5 conferences and 5. It was like a marathon of germs. I can't tell you how many hands I shook. It was getting gross.
I heard that everyone. So I left on the 31st because I wanted to get back to trick or treat, and with my 8-year-old daughter, not myself.
Yeah, I was like, you're really into this Halloween thing.
No, so I left on the morning of the 31st. But yeah, when I was walking out, I talked to like 3 people who were like, I think I'm sick.
Yeah, I have hand sanitizer at all times on my fanny pack. Yeah, definitely. That's like the number one best advice for any Bitcoin conference is for if you do shake hands, like the first advice is don't shake hands. Like when someone does this, I meet with the fist pound and they have to fist bump.
Yay, now you see my PowerPoint.
All right. Well, this looks legit.
Yeah. So I think step 1 is, okay, whoa, I went too far. All right, crypto love line. How to get a girlfriend when you're a crypto bro. So I've published 2 papers on the subject. One is how I use the price of cryptocurrency to emotionally manipulate my boyfriend. And the other one, right? And the other one is how to get your girlfriend interested in cryptocurrency. The second one, how to get your girlfriend interested in cryptocurrency, ran on CCN. It was funny. It's good. I think they're both good, but that one, I don't know. I'm kind of proud of that one. So, demonstration of the problem. There's Codey. He's posting on Twitter, I'm dressing up as a guy that can't get laid for Halloween, party. And the shirt he's wearing says, stop having sex with people that don't believe in Bitcoin.
I agree. Concur.
Yeah. So the next thing that I thought that we should address is women in crypto. So obviously it would be much easier to meet somebody who already works or is interested in the space. But with an estimated only 6% of the blockchain space being occupied by women, it's not that easy to meet someone. There's tons of competition. And you probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to assume when we talk about getting dating advice that the person who one of you is going out with is just like a normal human person. And I think that that's a really great thing because it gives you the opportunity to bring more women into crypto, make life easier for yourself and your friends moving forward. And also just to spread the crypto gospel, right?
Right. You know, this 6% of the blockchain space being occupied by women leads me to the thought, if you look at like Darwinism and everything, that there's going to be a lot of gay dudes in Bitcoin. Just because there's just not enough girls to go around. People need, connections. And I do realize the lack of females in the conferences too. Like, I think Brenna Sparks probably posts one of the best memes of Bitcoin conference life ever. But she's an adult entertainer, and she was at a Bitcoin conference, and she posted a picture of the line at the men's room, and then she posted a selfie because there was no line at the ladies' room, and she's like, "This never happens." But there's like no girls at the conference, so of course there's no line for the restroom.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's an observation that I've made that never actually took the picture. I think there was one at World CryptoCon at like the opening mixer where it was actually noticeable that like all of the women were on like one of the small walls and the rest of the place was like nothing but men.
Yeah, I'm usually found with the ladies. Like, I think it's the pajamas and my personality is super non-threatening and welcomed into like the clique. But yeah, I don't even hang out with too many Bitcoin bros, like I'm usually hanging out with, ladies at the conference. You've seen me. I usually have like friends that are females at these events.
Yeah. In fact, the conference that I met you at was Crypto Chicks.
Yes, it was. Wow. Shout out to Crypto Chicks in Canada.
Yeah. I love that conference, by the way. I'm totally going back.
Super intimate. I really enjoyed the conversation. I really thought
that was great. Yeah. Because it was like 350 people, which compared to something like WCC where there's 5,000 people.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to really get bonding at events like World CryptoCon. But like, I even feel like got to bond at the Crypto Chicks because there was only a few of us there and we kept running into each other. And with World CryptoCon, I don't even think I saw you more than once. It was so big.
I know I saw you in passing, but I think we only spoke one time. And I mean, World CryptoCon was great. Like I made some great connections, but yeah, it's definitely harder to form a bond.
It's definitely a different environment. I mean, I guess that would be like for how to meet a different conference, I guess, have a different approach because something like World CryptoCon may be a lot more different of meeting somebody than something like, more intimate like crypto chicks.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so step one is to make the girl the priority when you're talking about cryptocurrency. So I know that it's hard to talk about
How?
anything.
Bitcoin's the priority.
Right, okay, so like, but listen, but so I know that it's hard to talk about anything but crypto or blockchain. I mean, I basically in my life don't go more than 10 or 15 minutes unless I'm just hanging out with my daughter, but like I'm still thinking crypto thoughts. So I know how difficult that is, but obviously, like, if you care about meeting someone, you have to realize that you don't care just about crypto or blockchain. So I think that first,
Right.
whoever is looking at this needs to realize and accept that they do have other interests, and one of them is women, and you do whatever you need to attain more crypto. So this isn't really any different from that.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, so then I think the next step is to listen. Listen to what she talks about, listen
Wait,
to what she
what'd you
does.
say?
Sorry?
No, I'm just kidding. I was like, wait, what?
Oh, you got me. Good. Okay. So it's listen to what she talks about, what she does for a living, what social causes she cares about. And if you take the time to listen and get to know her, you can figure out how you could talk about blockchain or crypto in a way that will appeal to her.
Mm-hmm.
I
think step 3 nails it. Just leave Bitcoin out of it. Never say
Yep.
the word Bitcoin, and your chances of getting laid have exponentially increased.
Right, and that doesn't mean that you can never be who you are in front of, this woman, because but a lot of people just have negative sentiments about Bitcoin because of the media, or they know someone who did something that they thought was illegal or immoral or whatever because of Bitcoin, or they know someone who lost a lot of money in Bitcoin. I think that it's just the initial discussion needs to be about cryptocurrency in a way that it will apply to, enhance, or impact her life to get that interest going. And, after a little while of that, Bitcoin can enter the picture.
Good point. It's like you're literally describing how to have a threesome, except Bitcoin's the other girl.
Yeah, I guess I am. So that was all my presentation.
No, I think it's perfectly put together. I know, you know what? Codey needs to put his practice into this and let us know how much, how far he gets with this information being provided. Because obviously it's come to desperate means, desperate measures. The man's wearing a t-shirt that says he can't get laid. I'm about to sleep with him just for the community. Like, someone needs to take one for the team.
Well, I mean, here's the other thing is that I didn't actually mention this to Codey. I meant to, but if it's really just a sex thing, like, the community doesn't have any problem with any issues with sex workers. Like, he could easily take care of that.
I've met a few sex workers that do accept Bitcoin. I've even done business with sex workers that accepted crypto, and it's been in legal places. But I was in Canada, and they had a new room massage parlor. I always wanted to have a new room massage, and I did. And I ended up talking to my massage therapist for the whole time about Bitcoin. And at the end of the massage, they actually asked if they could get a tip in Bitcoin. And I was just like, yeah. And it was really easy for them to set it up because, and not just in the US, but other places, Bitcoin's still pretty popular, and there's Bitcoin ATMs everywhere. And, sex workers industry is one of the most, scrutinized by the legacy financial industry. So when you look at Bitcoin as an alternative and you show it to a sex worker, they see every use case. It's a viable option to them. Same thing for the cannabis industry. I speak to a lot of the cannabis workers, and it's hard to get a bank account when you say you own a grow out and you're selling weed for a living. It's still a federal crime, and banks don't really look at that like it's a legal business.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think that sex work point is important. There's even a sex worker coin, isn't there?
There was a platform. I know Spank Chain had like their live streaming platform. I think that was a proof of concept of the payments platform. So I think that they're kind of moving away from live streaming. But yeah, it's a sex work friendly, and there's other blockchains that are too, like Lolly or Intimate. There's other ones out there that are doing the same. I think even Verge is accepted on Pornhub. So like if you upload a video onto Pornhub and people watch it, your ad revenue is paid out in Verge, which is really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. No, I think that's sort of something else maybe we should address really quick. The cryptocurrency industry doesn't have any issue with sex work when it's done between consenting adults. Certainly don't support any kind of like human trafficking or anything like that.
That's Wells Fargo and Visa. They support that crap. Bitcoin doesn't support any of that.
Right. So just like people should be able to do whatever they want with their own money, people should be able to do whatever they want with their own bodies or to earn money, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. And
yeah, the only reason it's not legal is all the old white guys with the puffy hair didn't want to pay for it, so they told the ladies, you can't charge me for it. That's it. It's all these old 100-year-old dead politicians that have nothing to do with our world anymore. It's their say that still rules. And in Las Vegas, in Nevada, in this really tiny spot in America, it's not illegal, and it's embraced, and you can see that it's a healthier environment for sex workers because of that. And you can look at other areas of America where it's not legal and where sex workers suffer from that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what I was going to say. Yeah, I support sex workers, right?
You want me to take my shirt off?
No.
Oh, okay. My bad.
How much Bitcoin do you want? How much Bitcoin?
I don't know. I got to talk to your boyfriend, I think.
Okay, so the sex workers' rights, yeah, that goes with cryptocurrency. Same thing, like we generally support the legalization of drugs.
Yeah, I mean, prohibition doesn't stand a chance once we come to a consensus, right? Like it started with alcohol prohibition. Community came to a consensus and said, government can go screw yourself. The ability to enforce the regulations became null and void. Same thing with cannabis. And I think right now, the moment that we are all living in, without the title, is the age of Bitcoin prohibition. This is where we're in it. This is it right now. This is what Bitcoin prohibition looks like. Regulators threatening or interrogating these companies with potential future regulations, or, we start to see, we can't be regulated individually, but they'll go to companies, right? Like, so anybody who invested in Libra basically just got strangled by the government into not investing in it because the government doesn't want cryptocurrencies to prosper. So the more we use this, the more we ignore the potential regulations or even regulation KYC, use a VPN. Do what you got to do to show the government that they cannot regulate this option out of existence. This is the financial lifeboat of the world, and they're trying to stab holes in the bottom of it. Don't let them do that. So the more of us that kind of go with it, the less likely they are to regulate against it. And, so support your local Bitcoin ATM machines, support your local miners, just get out there and just show support and actually use this stuff. I really think hodling is the reason Bitcoin's not been hitting mainstream, foresight, is because all these Bitcoin billionaires are hodling instead of going to Lamborghini dealerships and incentivizing the dealership to take their Bitcoin for the Lamborghini. It's me going to the corner stores trying to incentivize mom and pop shops to sell me an egg sandwich for Bitcoin. It's a totally different conversation.
I got the Botox doctor here in Boise to set up BitPay, and then I paid.
Really?
Yeah, and then I paid in Bitcoin.
Respect.
Yeah.
Much respect.
I was like, this will be a good way to bring it to women too, and they were for it. They're accepting Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Ethereum.
That is really cool. Yeah, and it's just, there's so many ways, and it's for them. It's just like, yeah, I accept Visa, I accept MasterCard, I accept checks. Why wouldn't I accept Bitcoin? I accept money.
Especially because you save 1% of the transaction fee.
No chargeback either. That's the biggest part too. And people don't realize, for small businesses, if I were to go to your business, buy something for $100, take it home, call Visa and tell them to charge back that transaction because it wasn't me, I get my $100 back. I get to keep the item I got from your store, and then Visa charges you $35 for the chargeback. So you lost $135 plus. Oh man, like that's one of those like mathematical, puzzles, but like, how much money did you really lose?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think we're seeing more and more places starting to accept Bitcoin. I think that we're like on the road to where we've been trying to go, right?
Yep. And I am by no means trying to be like, the image of Bitcoin or like the spokesperson of Bitcoin. When people look at me on Twitter or whatever, because I'm in my pajamas on stage talking about Bitcoin at a conference where the tickets are like $3,000. I'm not the guy that's like trying to claim responsibility for making Bitcoin mainstream. I am in no way, shape, or form trying to sell Bitcoin to Wall Street. I don't think we have to. I really, really don't believe that Bitcoin even competes with banks, just like Netflix didn't compete with Blockbuster. Blockbuster just became obsolescent and died. And that's what we're going to see with these obsolete banks. They will just die. So there's really no like war to fight. To me, this is like,
except for with the banks.
no, it's not. This is a renaissance, right? There's nothing the banks can do now to survive this. This is like the black plague of fiat. Every dollar is just dying. And the more, like, to me, every time I take $1 out of circulation to buy some Bitcoin, I'm burning $11. I'm burning my dollar and the 10 that they were going to try to fractional reserve and lend out. They're losing money by the buckets when people just buy Bitcoin. Like, that's the biggest financial political move you can do in 2019 is take your fiat and throw it in the ocean that is Bitcoin. Like the Boston Tea Party of 2019, it's throwing it into Bitcoin because that's what hurts the banks the most. Taking your money out of the bank, closing your direct deposit, getting Bitcoin. You could use Bitwage. Bitwage, there's a plug. They don't pay me, but you could use Bitwage and you can get your paycheck direct deposit and receive it in Bitcoin. So the banks lose your money immediately. And the more people that opt out of this, it's like, you'll see the banks just getting frailer and frailer until they just gone in the wind.
Yeah, I think that that's where we're going to. And I think it was maybe a week after the first time that I bought Ethereum that I said, hey, when I buy this, I'm shorting the dollar. And I remember asking my boyfriend about it and him saying, yeah, I guess I didn't think of it that way. Like, are you cool with that? And I was like, yeah, I'm going all in,
Yeah, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm coming for your retirement. I'm coming for your pension. I'm coming for your 401k. I'm coming for your dollar. Mom, please buy Bitcoin.
Did she?
No, she doesn't hold it. I told you, she uses it, but
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't hold it. My mom and I think a lot of, the older generations are very uncomfortable with seeing currency volatility rather than goods and service volatility. Like, you go into the store and you see eggs, bread, milk, it all is volatile in price, but your dollar's always a dollar. And that, I think, is hard for people to understand currency volatility because they're not used to a scarce deflationary currency. They're used to inflationary currency that incentivizes that if you don't spend it today, it's going to be worth less tomorrow. So it's hard to see like that mentality break. And for me, it took me a good 12 months. It took me a whole year of ignoring the US dollar and looking at BTC paired to gold or BTC paired to other cryptocurrencies. So I got more comfortable with currency volatility because, I don't think that buying Bitcoin with US dollar is the fairest thing to do. I mean, they can just keep printing these dollars and Bitcoin's very scarce and takes a lot of proof of work to really get out of this ground that is Bitcoin mining. So when we start to look at like what can be done with a dollar or what can be done with gold and Bitcoin and gold have more relation to it than fiat and anything else. So that currency volatility, I think that, our older generations are comfortable with, they're or uncomfortable with, they're going to end up phasing out. And the millennials, and these younger generations that are moving in, we're already comfortable with this. We've seen scarcity and volatility in digital currencies before Bitcoin in video games and X, Y, and Z. And we're more used to e-commerce. So it's just, I think, going to be more of something that can be comprehended by the younger crowd as we get older because of this relation to currency, not just being physical and fiat and things, but we see these digital items go up and down in volatility, and these digital currencies in these video games do the same thing. So maybe it'll be an easier term to grasp. But like for right now, when my mom sees Bitcoin go from 10 grand to 3 grand, That's all she needs to just not hold it. And from here, I mean, Bitcoin isn't a get rich quick scheme. So if the only reason you're getting Bitcoin is to make more dollars, then you're probably taking advantage of something. Like, that's how I feel. Bitcoin isn't for you if you can invest in it to make more money. It's not for you. Leave Bitcoin alone. It's for the people that have no other alternative options. They're so suppressed and censored that this is their only option. That's who Bitcoin's for. It's not for you.
People who want to support those people, right?
Right, exactly. That's another thing.
Those of us who aren't in that position but want to support those who are.
But that's the opposite of traders, right? People that trade cryptocurrencies, they're hurting the people that are trying to use this tool as a financial lifeboat. You have people dumping on the market and laughing because they made millions of dollars publicly, but it's the people in Venezuela and South Africa and other countries that are using this currency as an alternative to their local government currency that are actually being hurt when the market dumps 20% because some rich whale wanted to cash out some fiat.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I have a major issue with the trading too. But you know, that said, I guess like everybody has to make their money, and I don't try to tell people what they can and cannot do with their own, money.
Right. I mean, with the way Bitcoin's going, we're headed to a very Black Mirror-esque future where money may not have the same meaning or the same use case or be applied in the same way. Like the way we use money and say money and think money 20 years from now may not even be right. They're going to rewrite Webster's dictionary to make it make sense because we're basically using tool-ups to the people in 20 years from now. When they look back and look at cash, we might as well have been using flowers for currency. It's a joke to them. But right now, this is as serious as it gets, and it's one of those inside the box problems, right? Like everybody's so inside the box economically that to think outside the box, it's not worth it. The risk reward just isn't there. Look at Blockbuster. There was no reward for them to start streaming. They already had all the money. They had their own premieres. They had companies coming to them to produce movies. Blockbuster was comfortable. And then Netflix came in. They had no chance in the same market that Blockbuster was in. So they had to take that risk of trying something different. And Blockbuster didn't have, by the time that risk reward paradigm starts to shift, now Blockbuster doesn't have what it takes to get into the Netflix market. When we look at banks and we look at Bitcoin, look at the Federal Reserve and the IRS and all the jobs that they do in the legacy economic world, if they don't figure out how to apply that contribution into the new era Bitcoin economic world, they will become obsolete. There's no war with the IRS. There's no war with the Federal Reserve. It's they either opt in and contribute where they can, or we just replace them. And it's not like, they can be forced into a position anymore where, the IRS, if they want to get any tax money, they better become Bitcoin miners and start taking some transaction fees, because that's the only tax that they're going to see for a very long time.
Hallelujah. All right, Kenn, where can they follow you on social media, or where is your podcast?
Pornhub. It's Twitter, Kenn Bosak, Kenneth Bosak on Twitter, YouTube, Kenn Bosak, and other than that, just leave me alone.
All right, awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching Web3TV. Kenn, amazing for you to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and have a day.